I want to say that again. God reveals to us that he is the primary component in restoring places that have been ruined. Some of you are saying, what does all of this have to do with us today? This is a word that's relevant to us, particularly as we now prepare to live in the post-drama of this presidential election. Many of us around this nation, and rightly so, are basking in the euphoria of yesterday's historic election results. And while we should be hopeful, hear me, while we should be hopeful that in the very least dignity and decency will be restored to these high offices, if we were to take an honest and panoramic assessment of this entire electoral experience, we would be able to see that we have a nation that is in ruins. Our country is deeply divided politically, but many of these political divisions over the last 4 years have been more about people than they have been policies. The lack of responsible leadership from our soon-to-be immediate past president, the racist and xenophobic rhetoric that has been both exemplified and inspired by him to his constituency, and the unsuccessful and even the successful attempts at undermining the law and overturning policies that protect the rights and privileges of the least of those amongst us has had most of us feeling just like Israel the last 4 years, like we have been living in an exilic experience. We have a nation that is in ruins. And this past week's election has given us reason to hope for the future. But I need you to hear me today. If we believe we can just return to life as usual without repairing what has been ruined, then just like Judah, we will waste this opportunity that God has given us, and our future will be no better than our past. I mean, let's be honest. Were you paying attention yesterday? There were a few demonstrations around the country from people who were on the losing side of this election. And many of them, we know who they had been protesting all week. But they were only a small percentage of the 70 million that they represent. My question is, what happens now? I mean, they might become a little less bold. They might take off their red hats. They might take the sign out of their yards and lower their flags. But has anything changed in their hearts? We must rebuild the ruins of the same problems that have plagued us during this presidency will not change just because a different person is sitting behind the desk in the Oval Office. This is relevant for us as a nation politically and socially, but this is also a word for many of you personally.